even with the Justin shit, we were writing all that shit same day, just going. All the Rihanna songs, same day, all that. And so Bruno was the first person I worked with that we worked on a song over a span of time and fucking swept the Grammys. Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pod. Sitting with me today is one of the greatest songwriters of all time.
I agree.
You may know him from Bruno, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Drake, J. Cole, Cardi B, Rihanna. That's just like a little fragment of the list.
I can't remember them all.
It doesn't even matter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one of my favorite humans.
Yeah.
James Fauntleroy.
Yes, he's real. Yes. Oh my God, I'm crying.
I was here with you last week, and some really important person, I forgot who he was, the guy that linked you with Disney was like, Disney came to me and was looking for, they were like, we're going to do a platinum Mickey Mouse. And, you know, so what do you think? And he was like, well, I know the most platinum person alive.
Yeah.
And that was James Fauntleroy.
It's true.
How does it feel to be the most platinum person alive?
I don't know if that's technically accurate, but it's for sure actually real. You know what I mean? So in that regard, it's conflicting, man. It's like I'm living the life of a bad bitch. And it's hard. You know what I mean?
It's tough to be a bad bitch.
It is, man. I really, at first, before I came to this side of reality, I didn't understand what a bad bitch had to go through. But now I know all too well.
Yeah, you're too wanted.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, so I'm dedicating this to all the bad bitches.
So that means that you don't date bad bitches because you're a bad bitch.
I'm married to the game, bro.
That's why you're so productive and the most platinum person alive.
There you go.
All right, so you've written a ton of hits, man. I know you've written all sorts of songs, a lot of the biggest songs ever, a lot of my favorite songs too. Yes. Because when you write a pop song, you know how to make it musical and great and soulful.
That's my goal,
just
man.
amazing,
I'm glad to hear
bro.
you say that.
So I love that. And so you are an artist singing your own tracks. Mm-hmm. You are a feature artist on a lot of these songs that you've written / co-written. And a lot of them, you are not singing on them or not credited as a feature artist and just as a songwriter. Mm-hmm. What determines when the song is featuring James Fauntleroy or if it's just you writing a song?
Well, it's changed over the years because, you know, like the first time I was singing on songs with just backgrounds, which was always great to get those little SAG after checks. You know what I mean? For movies that I may or may not have even been in the room. But I really enjoyed those in the early days. I enjoyed those SAG after checks. But for the most part, what determines it is basically like just the circumstance. Like over the years, I've done like background or writing for people where they like did something I like to call stealing a feature. You know what I mean? Where they like, it wasn't intended to be me on the song, but they either kept my vocals or kept a whole entire, you know, like performance or something like that. So that is the middle ground. And then there are times when people are like, yo, I want you to get on my song. And that happens a lot. So
sometimes it's that you've written a song and you've tracked the vocal and then it ends up with an artist and then they're like, oh, let's keep James's vocal in this part.
I don't know if I have any songs that I sold that way. I don't think I've ever, maybe there's one out of the hundreds of songs that I successfully shopped.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't mean there's a few songs in my life that other people shopped, but from my personal experience, most of the songs, I'm running through them in my mind right now, the ones that made me money. All the ones that made me money, I wrote them on the spot.
And then when you write them on the spot, do you sing them on the spot? Is the artist like, is Kendrick like, James, I want you to actually keep your voice on this?
Well, no, that was Terrace. Terrace called me for that, and that was with the intent of staying on the song. So I knew beforehand.
Yeah. Terrace Martin.
Yeah, Terrace Martin.
You just dropped another new album with Let's Go, Nova. Get it now. You want to hear James Fauntleroy and Terrace Martin do a bossa nova, soulful, sexy album?
They do.
You can go anywhere and listen to it right now.
Yeah, you can. It's everywhere.
Girls Like Beyonce.
They do.
You're in the studio with Drake. You guys do Girls Like Beyonce. Then you end up in the studio with Beyonce because you're James Fauntleroy. Is she like, so you and Drake have been singing about me, James?
Actually, I was writing with Beyonce immediately after, or for Beyonce, immediately after my first hit, which was before I met Drake. So I already knew Beyonce when I did that song. And I had already met LaShawn Daniels, rest in peace. He wrote that song. And Rodney Jerkins. So I knew everybody else except him. But by the time we did that song, we already knew each other because we met. I met him and 40 and all the guys in London. They were working on, when I was working on Rihanna's album, Rated R. And they came to write some songs, which a lot of those songs ended up finding different ways to become smash hits, honestly, but that he wrote. But that's where we met, and I just was like, oh, man, I'm a big fan. And he was like, oh, I know about you. I'm a fan, too. I think he said, I'm good. Let's just assume he said that because it sounds cool.
I like that part of the story.
Yeah, like, man, Drake was like, oh, what, I'm such a huge fan. I don't know if he actually said that. But then I ended up, like, keeping up with 40 in particular. And they were working on that song, and it was literally like a, yo, can you come sing on this song? So that was like, ask me. You know what I mean? And I did actually work on the last thing I worked on with those guys was the Scorpion album, but, you know, that Girls Love Beyonce, that was a decade ago. So that's when me and Drake were like similarly rich. So we talked a lot more at that time.
And now you have just far surpassed him. So.
No. Now his face is on the $100 bill, and I need $100.
But that doesn't actually answer the question, which is Beyonce like James and Drake are singing about? She's not. You know, when you see her, she's not like, oh, so.
Yeah, no, she didn't say anything to me about it, and she had a lot of opportunities.
She was like, pass. I have other things to talk about.
No, I'm sure she loved it. She's a big music fan, so I'm sure she thought it was funny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to settle this right now, bro.
Let's do it.
Because I've heard people fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm.
James Fauntleroy or James Fauntleroy?
It's Fauntleroy.
I knew that. Thank you. No one call him Fauntleroy anymore.
It's okay, guys. I've been called everything. Flournoy, that's a popular name. That's not mine. Fauntleroy, that's my favorite one.
Fauntleroy.
Because of my lifestyle. And,
I like Fauntleroy.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's a nickname.
Yeah, when I won my first trophy, which was for best costume at daycare, I got a trophy, which is really crazy now I'm thinking about it. Like, who went out and got trophies for us for that? But it's, James Fauntleroy on my first trophy.
Huge, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you were like, I'm going to be the most platinum person.
Yep, right in that moment.
Of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're sitting in your studio.
Yes.
This place is amazing, man. Tell us about Volume
Thank
Studios.
you.
This is a whole new complex.
It's a whole new studio, man. State of the art. It's the newest studio in town, probably. So that makes it the most technologically advanced, if not one of the most advanced. And let's see, it's a content studio. We got a theater and a sound stage and an outdoor stage and a bunch of studios and a circus and all these different things and all this art and just all these things that are here representing different things I want to expose our students to and my peers. The students being on the other side of the wall of this building, I wanted to have a real business operating next to the school so they could have like pathway opportunities. I got the idea from Blackbird Studio in Nashville, one of the best studios to ever be created. He has an engineering school next to it, which I always thought was pure, unbridled, hot, steaming genius. Mm-hmm. And so
John McBride being
I
him.
love John McBride. He's so cool. And, he's a big part of the inspiration for what's going on here. The other being the Disney man you mentioned earlier. His name is Darren Romanelli. And the third being a group of awful music business experiences I've had. Those are the three people that brought us here to this place today.
This place is amazing.
Thanks, dude. I love it, man. I'm really hoping with the school, kind of the intent, there's so many different things that are intended to come from that, but a big part of it was like the opportunity to send better people into the music business.
Yes.
because, you know, the music business, just like anything coveted, it has a lot of misconceptions about like how things go, the environment, what's okay, what's not okay. And having such an unusually long career, I've seen, you know, every version of how to fuck your shit up that exists.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it all. Men's versions, women, the things that they both go through, the different positions, like musician, executive. I've seen everybody. Like I've seen so many people come and go because there's the music business. Like it has like dog years version of generations. You know, relative to actual human life.
Yeah.
And so typically people have like a 1 to 3 year career. If you did 3 years, you like murdered it. You know what I mean? And so like I'm like a dinosaur now, or a ghost, or a dinosaur ghost. And you know,
It's
like,
already gone.
yeah,
James.
exactly. And so that's really like why I wanted to do the school, why this is over here. It's all to see if there's a possibility that we can shorten the path for some of these guys, because like while some things are unavoidable, period, some things are unavoidable and valuable because you need to learn that experience. But some things, I don't think I really needed to get fucked over that many times to get the point.
For sure.
And so I always wonder, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
I think I picked it up the first 4 times.
As a fellow dinosaur, I completely understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I needed all those. So I was always wondering. I've always been curious to see like what kind of careers will come from starting people a little bit further,
Yeah.
and kind of prepping them in a different way than, you know, we had. So that's
incredible,
what's
man.
going on over here.
What a
Thanks.
gift for you to give to so many different people.
Thanks.
Because you're sharing your time, you're sharing your heart, you're sharing your experiences. Like,
yeah, hell yeah. And now my studio.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. James is not charging us to be here. I don't think.
Not in cash money.
You're not charging us
We'll
to
talk
be here.
about it after.
Okay. Katrina, you send a follow-up about that. Well, dude, this place is amazing. 1500 Sound
Thanks.
Academy is amazing. Everyone check out everything that James is doing. I know a lot of people, especially here in California, know all about 1500 Sound Academy, but wherever you're watching, especially if you're trying to advance your career in anything, music production, Ableton, Pro Tools, pop, hip hop, etc. 1500
That's right, baby.
Sound Academy.
Yeah, let's go.
And I would love to talk to you about 1500 or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're what? How many years in are you on 1500 or nothing?
However many years it's been existing. So,
I know that.
let me see.
20, it's 15, 16.
I'd say what year would be 15 years ago, mathematicians?
It'd be 2008.
That was really fast. So
So you're
no.
at 16 years.
No, it wasn't 2008. It was 2006.
2006.
I think I met them in 2005, and they were already gigging and stuff. They just weren't called 1500 yet.
Right.
And so I think the first gig was in 2006.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got a 20th anniversary coming up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Even though you kind of missed, you should have done the 15. But
Yeah, damn.
yeah, it doesn't matter. You
That
got
was-
it.
Oh my god.
You might have actually gotten your day on the 15th year.
Oh yeah, boom. You're right. Look at that. 1500.
James
day.
Fauntleroy has a day.
Yep.
He's not only the most platinum person, but he's, I don't know, it sounds like you have a sidewalk too, some concrete or something. What makes a day?
Not yet, dude.
It's physically.
I don't know, man.
It'll be Fauntleroy Avenue.
The day is mine.
This
Yeah, I
street
hope
might
so.
become Fauntleroy Avenue one day.
I think it should soon.
Yeah, dude.
Monday.
Yeah, aviation. Get
Yeah.
rid of aviation.
Yeah, because I'm way flyer than that.
So I would love to talk about your long partnership with Rants.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when I see people that have been working together for that long, I just feel like there's stuff you need to talk about in order to tell so many people what makes a partnership last.
Mm.
So Rants and you have been doing 1500 for, let's say, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
And now you're doing volume as
Mhm.
well as 1500 as well as everything. So what is your relationship like with Rants, and how do you have a partnership last that long?
I think even though me and him are as opposite as two human beings could possibly be, like the movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe there's a few more opposite things that could possibly happen, but I think it's because we have the same goals, and we feel the same about, you know, like growth.
Yeah.
So like we're both always frantically trying to just grow and improve and learn and kind of stretch out in our really super different ways and methods of doing that. But I think that's why we're still around each other, because we're both headed in the same direction. What do you think of that?
And that has kept you essentially together.
Yeah, dude. Because he'll tell you too, like when I first started making money in publishing, that was a different direction than gigging.
Yeah.
Which for me, I was singing backgrounds anyway, so that's a different amount of money and a different lifestyle than the band players are getting. So that was never really like my plan, was to be a background singer in the first place, because I'm such a fancy man with a fancy name. So I always wanted fancy things my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, this shit ain't it. So then when I found out that you could get paid to write songs, because I didn't know you could do that. So I didn't grow up singing or writing serious songs. I love Weird Al, though, so I wrote a lot of funny songs. So I always say I started writing as an adult when I met these guys, but probably the real first songs I was writing were parody songs, making fun of popular songs of the day, because I just love Weird Al so much. But yeah, that's the answer, I think.
Because I feel like you guys are both like planets. You have your own.
Oh yeah, no question. We're too different to be on the same planet.
Yeah, you're definitely from different planets, but you're in the same solar system.
Yeah, it's just the same. However well we are able to accomplish or execute what our goal is, we know that it's the same goal. It's growth. It's bigger. It's more. It's better. It's, you know what I mean. So that comes with a lot of complications and a lot of nuance. But
growth is incredibly
something
hard.
worked. Because we're sitting in here now.
Yeah.
And so it was a valuable road, because now, especially after having done so much shit that I can't even remember genuinely.
Yeah.
There's nothing more fulfilling than the students, just the students in general. We have special needs students with the organization called YSC. Yes, I Can. We're working on getting, different groups of people I think we're talking to the state government about like a vet program.
Amazing.
And something for convicts, which we have a bunch of people that have been incarcerated coming through here now, but we're working on like ways to really make it a real part of the curriculum with the city. And
that's amazing. Yeah. So if you guys are both planets, your sun, you would say, is growth.
Yes. Yeah, because when why I brought up singing background and pathways, I was really telling everyone, they'll all tell you, you guys need to get this publishing money, and you need to get it right now.
Yeah.
Because it's hot. Get it while it's ready. And so I think he was one of the first people to be like, you're right, I need to go focus on that. And so, that turned into just looking for what the best thing to focus on is. And then at a certain point, which, everybody loses all their money if you make some and you didn't have any to begin with. Yeah. Even if you did have some, you have a chance you'll lose it all.
Yep.
Without experience and wisdom. And I always tell people that's when you start looking for Jesus. Like when you know what I mean? That's when you start looking for God and how to like be better and all these things. God, if you get me out of this, I'll never do that again type of shit.
Yep.
And so, like that inevitable path really galvanized the growth, planet or sun, I should say, because after, like you hear and are told the value of education and the value of growth your whole life, preschool on up. But it's different when you have experience with it and you really learn from experience the value of something you learned and the value of something you went through. And so again, that's just something that anybody that is around me that I fuck with like that or allow into my life is someone that's orbiting around the growth sun, because that is, in my opinion, the best pathway for everyone, and also the opinion of every philosophy, religion, every group around the world. At least on the surface, they all have that one thing in common, that I can't think of a religion right now or a school of thought or anything that's like just don't do shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just I guess maybe city girls. Everybody's pretty. You know what I mean? That's the only religion that I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is sustainable. You know what I mean? But
that's why we can't let you be too bad of a bitch.
I know, man, because they calling me right now to go speak at the fucking city girls.
No. We got to keep you out of there. We got to keep you out of there.
No, I got to flip my hair on them.
All right, so you are credited as a songwriter with Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. These people are incredible lyricists. So what are you doing? Are you writing lyrics with them, or what is being a songwriter with people like that?
Well, with rappers, it's always just me writing my own part.
Yeah.
And with respect to rap, I also am a rapper, and so I use a lot of rap techniques when I'm writing songs in general. And so, I just realized that I could sing well enough or like relative to other singers I had heard, that I should focus on that and not rapping. But
yeah.
I still feel like I'm the best rapper on the earth. So, challenge me.
Bow down, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you have been amongst the best and contributed to the best and been on the mic with the best, been writing with the pen with the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so number one rapper, James Fauntleroy.
Let's get it. I mean, think about the experience that you've had sharing a room and writing with all of these people, like the greatest writers, artists of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really like a testament to, the sacrifices that go with, getting to that level. And also, it's good to get, I want to say mutual respect. I don't know how much respect a lot of these niggas have in their bodies to give out. But,
depending on ego.
Yeah, it depends on who we're talking about. But, to be acknowledged on that level, on the one hand, I expect it. But then on the other hand, it's such an honor.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite memories, I walked in a room, because Jay Electronica is one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah.
And obviously Jay-Z is one of the best people that will ever do rapping, ever, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was Jay-Z and Jay Electronica in the room. And when I walked in, he was like, okay, the gods is in here now. And I was like, now?
That's amazing, man.
No one was there to see that, but I saw that shit.
You hold on to that?
Yeah, because it was just like, like I said, I see myself, even more dramatically than everyone else can see me.
Yeah.
But
of course.
That's just the truth.
Yeah.
But there's so many great people in time. I think about this a lot. There's so many super talented people that never get the statistical success to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And so I feel so lucky and honored to have had the, what the executive or, revenue-based success and statistical success as a platform for what I'm actually good at, which is my job. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, it's just much easier, especially every single day that passes, to get access and visibility and all sorts of benefits from statistical information and not having any talent.
Yeah.
And so kind of part of my dream is that I can show people who really care about music and theory and concepts, because, writing and singing are two different, and music, I'll say, are such different things mentally, but people who really feel like their niche or destined to be marginalized because of the level of skill they have. There have been people, I always think of, I think the Blues Brothers, for instance, that story of them, being so successful and then going to play at the club. And everybody's like loving these guys. And so I think someone needs to do that for every generation.
Yeah.
We need people to remember that statistics are not the only metric, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I always say that I never shot myself. There's one A&R I shopped a song to that I sold, and someone emailed me. It was like, I bought one of your songs, but he actually didn't buy that song from me. Somebody else played him that. So I've only had one person be like, I want your song. Even though I know every single person in the whole business, they all know me for the most part. But it's really been the creative community that has like brought me into my entire career. Like everything. Like I've never had a moment where the people who are using statistics or chart success to decide who they're going to hire or work with. I never had that moment where I was like the hot guy that all the executives are calling. But I've consistently, from the beginning of 15 years ago till now, I've been, in high demand by the creative community, the artists. Like I had a meeting with the famous executive that was as terrible as most of them have been. A lot of executives now are people I came up with, so they're not weird, like they're like more normal people now. But I had this one meeting with an executive, nigga was late, came in there and just sat down and was like, so tell me what it is. What is it? What's up? And I was like, you asked me to come here.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about?
That's horrible.
What do you mean? What is it? What's up? And he said, every artist I've had come in here for the last couple months, when I asked them who they want to work with, it's you.
Amazing.
And he's like, so why is that? And I basically said, I don't think there's no words I can give you that are going to make you understand this. And so then I pulled up TED Talk in the middle of the meeting, and I made him watch an 18-minute video by Simon Sinek about how great leaders inspire. And I was like, if you can understand this, then you'll understand why people are asking me to come in here. I don't know if you did or not, but that really happened.
Everyone listen to that TED Talk, by the way.
Yeah,
Simon
it's
Sinek
amazing.
is incredible. Well, I got to say, you've given me a lot of support and encouragement, and that has meant a lot to me.
Nah, you're awesome. That's why.
I appreciate you, bro.
127%.
Let's get it.
That's right.
Actually, one moment I'll never forget. This is probably like 6 or 7 years ago or something. You and I were in the studio with Snow Allegra and No ID.
Mm-hmm.
And No ID walked in. You and I were already there chilling. No ID walked in, and he was like, oh, hey, James, Rihanna wants us to go into the studio. Let's go right with Rihanna. And you were like, where? No ID was like, Barbados. And then you were like, okay, cool. That was when I realized how big of a baller you are, bro. You didn't even flinch at that news.
Yeah, I don't
really even flinch at that news.
I only probably even did that because I love Rihanna so much. Like,
No ID also, love No ID, super chill, humble, mellow guy. So the two of you together, I think I am a little louder than both of you, a little bit.
Maybe.
But just No ID being like, yo, man, Rihanna wants you to go to the studio in Barbados. Let's go. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then back to just rolling.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's one of the pros and cons of the business is after a while, those things are not as exciting. I'm always excited to work with Rihanna because she's just such a great collaborator and platform and just so supportive and just a good experience. So, like, I'll go to fucking Jupiter if Rihanna was like, because I hate traveling too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why my response was muted because I don't want to go anywhere. But, if it's Rihanna, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like you and Rihanna.
And that's not true for a lot of people, bro.
Yeah. Well, you can tell just even from the outset that you and Rihanna have a special relationship. Her song, James's Joint, of course, which if you listen to that song, it is a James Fauntleroy song just sung by Rihanna. Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah, what is the story of that song? Is that what happened?
No, it's like I went to the studio because, like I said, even because Rihanna's been like false starting albums since her last album, and I'll still go work on that shit because it's Rihanna. It's not even especially not at this point. It's not even about the money or none of that. It's just like, that's my nigga. But what am I telling you about? Oh yeah, so I went in the studio, and Omar Grant, he's now running Rock Nation over there. I'm so proud of him. But at the time, he was Rihanna's A&R, And he always tells everybody, like, don't bring me a Rihanna song. You know what I mean? Because that's just, she doesn't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why she is who she is.
Yeah.
And so I noticed, I rarely go to writing camps, one, because it's not fair, because, you know, I'm just going to blow everybody's shit out of the water. But I rarely go to writing camps. But I noticed when I've gone to camps for her, people are still doing a fucking Rihanna song whenever I go in there, which always blows my mind because I've seen him tell people not to do that so many times, and they literally just do it anyway. And so, which is you know, I'm just saying that for those of you that ever get asked to do a Rihanna song out there. But
Just write
when
your
I
own
got
song, not a
there,
Rihanna
kind of everybody was doing trap, which that's not necessarily Rihanna, but like that's just what was so super popular at that time.
Yep.
I mean, still at this time, all times. So everybody had a trap beat, and the producer of that song is a guy named Shay Taylor. You know Shay Taylor?
No.
Oh my God, he's an absolute fucking genius, jazz musician.
Amazing.
And he's a producer. He's produced so many things, so many like just incredible songs throughout time. And so he can make amazing trap beats. He has the skills to do that. But the problem was that he can also make like incredible jazz pieces. And so when I went in there, he did what you know made sense, which is he pulled up one of his trap beats, and I was like, "What is this shit?" You know what I mean? I was like, and one, it was two things. It was one, when I walked to the room, I heard trap beats coming out of every room.
Yeah.
And then two, I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna sit here with a genius jazz musician and waste time making a trap song.
Yeah.
When everyone else is doing a trap song. So it was this double whammy of I'm not doing this. So I was like, play me the most complex thing you can think of in your computer right now, because that's what I'm feeling. And it wasn't even like, you know, because that's the other thing is like, I'm just trying to make the best song, because that's what our relationship is. Me and Rihanna's relationship is based on taste. It's a taste thing. To me, that's the secret of her and a lot of people like us, of our lives, is it's taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, out of respect to my taste levels, like I need some tasty shit. And so he pulls up this jazz piece that he had been working on, and I wrote to the song, like, you know, what I thought it was saying to me. And then I left and I didn't name it, because I was like, drop the mic, like, don't play me no trap beats again.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, because if you call me to come do a trap song, now if you got that money, I'll come do that. I'll trap you if you want to get into trap. But for the most part, even now, like, I really want to push myself, push the audience, and push the art. You know, I just want to push things. And so I didn't even name the shit. I just walked out. Rihanna's engineer is, you know, over the years we become really good friends because we spent so much time together working with Rihanna. And her personal engineer was the engineer for this session for me to record the song too. Probably because we're cool. You know what I mean? And so when I left, I didn't name it. He just typed James Joint, like a James song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe also he was being funny because he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
But then when Rihanna saw it, I wasn't there, but I'm told when Rihanna saw it, she was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is the name of the song." I'm also told another famous hater was trying to convince her to change the name of the song after playing it 8 times in the studio, but she stuck to her guns, named that beautiful song after me, and you know, the entendre of the title and the topic, and I just thought that was genius. But I didn't even name that song because I wouldn't.
I figured you didn't. Yeah. You wouldn't have named it James Joint. Yeah.
As arrogant as I sound in this interview, I would never name a song after myself.
It's all comedy. That makes sense. But and it also, just because if there is a song for another artist to title James Joint, it is that song. It sounds like it could be on your solo album.
Yeah, oh man, that's because when I'm working with certain people, and her being a really good example, it really brings the real me out, because I know I can do that. You know, like I have to, and any writer or producer, you know, it's a service business, so we have to try at least to meet the demands of the customer in our business, a lot of times the customer is wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so that's been the times that I've gone against what the customer asked for, or when they were just so wrong about what they needed that it was a waste of time for me to do this wrong thing when I can do the right thing. You guys cannot take it, and then I have a good song now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've done that a million times. People come in and ask me for an up tempo, but they really need a ballad.
Yep.
And then I'm like, here you go. And so, I've done that a lot of times. But with Rihanna and certain other artists, you'll get more of me in the music because I feel comfortable doing that. Because I'm also good at completely taking my own, parameters out of a situation. Because I'm really about like, what's the target? What's the platform? What's the message? Like I don't really think of it as a spiritual incense burning thing, although I love spirits and incense. But it's really like a science for me, especially having done it so many times and at such a level. I can do whatever. You know what I mean? But there's just certain circumstances that bring something else out, and those have been the best songs in my career, period. Like working with Bruno, working with Rihanna, working with Justin, these circumstances brought different things out of me, but they kind of demand the best with the environment. That's something I tell people. I've been telling people my whole life, even when I didn't even know if it was true.
Yeah.
But now that I know it's true, I've my whole career I've been talking about the environment of a hit song, or environment of money, or the environment of a good song. Is just like when you think of a studio session, you think of what you've seen on TV, 700 people, somebody's twerking, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, where are these? I've never seen these sessions before with twerking in them, but I've seen them on TV so many times.
Where are these sessions?
Yeah, like, why can't I go to the twerk session? What the hell? I'm a bad bitch. Let me in. And so, typically these environments just have certain things in common. There's not a lot of people. There's a target. There's a platform, and we have confidence that the label is going to support it. There's just a bunch of different factors, but then the most important factor is the artists themselves, because the environment around them, whether they are aware of it or not, is a reflection of them.
Yeah.
And so how people act, people absorb your ego when you're the leader. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of different dynamics that the artist creates in the environment, and I've seen more often than not them unknowingly stopping themselves from getting what they're looking for with the environment they choose to create.
With Bruno Mars, you've done a bunch, and you wrote for Bruno Mars. You wrote "That's What I Like."
Yes,
won yourself a couple Grammys, including Song of the Year.
I wrote that with him and Phil. Like, oh my God, geniuses.
So, with that being said, I'd like to go to the next segment of the show, which is called James Fauntleroy's "That's What I Write."
Oh yes. That is fantastic.
Okay.
I love it.
You wrote That's What I Like for Bruno Mars, with Bruno Mars and Philip. So what exactly did you write of that song?
That was a long time ago now, dude. And with those songs in particular, they were written over really long spans of time because we were working on a bunch of things at once. And so I can't really remember, to be totally honest. And it's also kind of like an ancient ghetto secret. You know what I mean? But one thing I'll tell you is because I'm from Inglewood, everybody thinks I wrote, this is on 24 Karat Magic. Everybody thinks I wrote Inglewood's Finest Shoes. But Phil wrote that.
Really?
He's hilarious, man. So funny. I think Phil wrote that. Hopefully Bruno doesn't. I'm in a headlock when I see that.
So it's not like a standout lyric or melody from that one?
No, it's just like, yes, I sang different melodies, and I'm singing on all those songs too, but for the most part, his process, it involves a lot of so much attention to detail that, again, it's just not like what the sessions look like on TV. Like, even though there is some of that, just singing melodies and doing this and that and whatever, but he's really both of those guys, I learned so much from watching them, which is, crazy because I known both of them. I met Phil before I even was a writer.
Wow.
I was like helping. I was like an assistant teacher at a for like this after school program, and Phil was one of the speakers. And I never seen a speaker. Even now, I do all this education stuff. I never seen anybody interact with kids as well as Phil in my life.
That's awesome.
He was going crazy. So I always remembered him from that. And then the next time I saw him, he was working with Bruno. But I met Bruno separately. I think I may have met Bruno before he met Phil too. But I met both of them in completely different places. And we kind of came up together at the same time, starting to have our first hits at the same time. And their career just took off in a completely different way. And so when I went into work with them finally, after us all seeing each other do our different things, I was like, one, excited because I know these guys and they're hilarious. So we were in there fucking crying, laughing for the whole time. But it was just such a great, I knew it would be such a great opportunity to learn. And it really was, even more, it was exponentially more, valuable and a learning experience than I thought going into it. Cause they're just, that's my one diamond song, but those two guys have 6.
Wow.
And then Bruno told me last week that Finesse is 9 times platinum now.
Oh, it's on its way.
Yeah, so I'm about to. They'll have 7, but I'll have 2. And I wasn't expecting to have any in the digital age. I thought that was over. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot, dude.
That's what I like one song of the year, and now it's diamond. When you're in the studio and you're hearing it back and you guys are writing it, do you know you have it?
No.
That song is such an instant smash when you hear it.
He knows. Bruno knows.
Bruno knows.
You can just put that on a tattoo or on your chest.
Bruno knows.
On the shirt.
He's writing intentional.
Like
he knows how to make a smash.
I think that he there's a lot more going on than I think people could imagine in terms of how the level of skill that he has had to develop to be where he is in life right now.
Yeah.
It's something that he's so normal too, so he's not going to talk about that shit. And, other people that witness it are not necessarily going to be running around talking about how much this nigga's doing. You know what I mean? But he's doing so much because, one, he's just really serious about it, just like all the stars we've talked about today. But, he really has the skill level of and experience of just being a writer, just being a producer, just playing in a band, just singing. Like, he really knows what he's doing. And so that can be difficult when you, the not Bruno person, is trying to understand something that you don't.
Yeah.
And he can't tell you, because how can you tell somebody something you can't necessarily explain?
Right.
And so it turns into a lot of trust, you know what I mean? Him trusting that the people he brings in to work with him are going to bring to the table why they're there, you know what I mean? Because that's another thing, is like everybody that he calls in is like extremely good. They're there for a reason. Yeah. And then also trust on our part to trust the process of however he wants to get to the end result, because the outcome is pretty undeniable.
It's pretty undeniable.
Yeah.
I feel like you would just know when you hear that song, just like, oh man, but he knows.
Nah, man, like he'll tell you, like, we were working on that song while they were mixing the album.
Wow. So that was like the last song on the album?
Yeah, I mean, they all were the last song. Like every song we were still working on while it was being mixed. And if I'm not mistaken, a week before it was done, we completely changed the B section of That's What I Like.
Really?
To something that was, I don't even remember what it used to sound like. It was something completely different from Jumping the Cadillac, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Okay, so Finesse, Cardi B, and Bruno Mars going on 10.
Let's go, baby.
9. Okay, do you remember what you wrote from that song? Wait, can I guess?
Sure. I don't remember, but if you say something and I didn't write it, I'll probably remember that.
For sure, James Fauntleroy wrote, and you wrote the melody too. Blame it on my confidence. Oh, blame it on your measurements.
Bruno for sure wrote that. But I may have interjected on that second half melody and rhythm, but I really can't remember. But I know for sure he wrote those words.
That's a Fauntleroy signature rhythm right there.
Well, I may have, I don't remember, bro.
When I heard that, I wasn't even certain that you wrote it because I hadn't checked yet or whatever. I was like, that's James. That's James. And it was like show info. I was like, that's info. I knew it was
plus,
James.
Like, if I'm going in here and learning all this shit, and working with all these geniuses, they'll also learn things from me. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's what happened in that case, but I imagine that at this level, there's a lot of mutual respect going on because, you know, when I first started, I had so many executives and managers trying to explain to me why whatever was going on was a favor for me.
Yeah.
You need to give us your publishing because we're doing you this favor. You need to accept these terms. You need to accept these hours and this treatment because we're doing you a favor. And I shit you not, like year one, I was like, I'm doing you a favor.
Yes. For sure.
Year one. Like, I never subscribed to this "you're doing me a favor" shit because it's a privilege for both of us to even do this for a living, first of all. Let's start off there. We're experiencing favor together.
Yes.
And then, yes, it's a favor, but it's really just genuinely mutual. And then in a case like Bruno, Bruno actually might do you a favor, but for the most part, these motherfuckers is not doing you favors. You know what I'm saying? So, like, most of the shit I'm on, it wasn't because somebody liked me or because they owe me nothing or nothing like that. It's really about your ability to deliver. I think it also is in part the experience people have with you and what kind of person you are, but you can be the worst fucking person alive and still have success in this business as long as you're delivering results.
Yep.
But then that starts to become a problem when you inevitably are not delivering at the same level, then people are ready to get rid of you immediately. So there's a little bit of personality and interacting with people, but for the most part, it's. And then also, like I said, Bruno's different because we've known each other for longer than anyone we've talked about. I know Bruno.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, like you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And for me, the reason is to have a positive impact on the listener, write a song that's of use, and to you know, like, grow.
So now that's what I like, Finesse. These songs are such massive hits that you probably hear. I mean, you definitely for a few years heard everywhere you went. Now
that's nice. I like that.
And now you're still hearing. Yeah. What is it like, especially now a couple years in? Like, is it still you hear That's What I Like or Finesse and you're just like.
I still hear No Air sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like mind blown.
That's amazing.
That people still remember those songs, especially.
No Air was your first hit, right?
Yeah. That was my first hit song.
Yeah. So that's got to make you smile.
Yeah. It's really insane, man. Like seeing people post it still and talking about it, and it's really wild.
Okay, so I'm going to stop doing That's What I Write because I feel like you're just going to be like, I don't remember. And
I might remember. Come on, what you got?
Okay. Justin Timberlake 2020 Experience.
All right, let me see.
Entirely James Fauntleroy all over that.
Well, me and him were both writing it.
Well, yes.
He's actually.
But you're on every song, right? You did the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, same thing. Like
you and Timbaland
almost every
and
superstar,
Justin.
especially from that era. I can't speak for these superstars now, if there are even a bunch of them to talk about because the game has changed so much.
Yeah.
But these guys are really, really seriously talented.
Yeah.
They're not people that you give them a song, especially Bruno and Justin, because they're both serious songwriters.
Yeah.
Like Bruno was a professional songwriter, and Justin, I imagine, started writing songs when he was in the group.
Yep.
And so that's still a lifetime, you know, that's a long, real experience. So he's a real songwriter. So I think Justin was the first artist I worked with that I can remember that we were, because like I low-key hate how we were talking about singing to each other earlier. I really don't like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really like a running around the studio singing to each other kind of guy, although that works for some people really well. But and like I said, also at that time, it's different when you're comfortable with the person. It's not weird, but I think if you're just meeting somebody for the first time and you're just dancing around singing to each other, that's just weird to me. And so like with Justin, when we started the album, we had already known each other for 6 years. We had been writing for 6 years. Like we had even written some hit songs together.
Yeah.
Before we started day one on 2020. So we were just really comfortable with each other. And that was my first time working with somebody that I was really going back and forth with.
Yeah.
And it was like TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And
it was like TV.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And both of us at that time, I had gotten to the point where I had stopped writing stuff down on paper because I had just written so many songs. And this was a million years ago, but I had written so many songs, it was slowing me down to write down on paper. And he also writes in his head. And so, you know,
Oh wait,
It
so
was
since you weren't writing on paper, it's all in your
yeah,
head.
we're both literally just like singing stuff, and then you typically when you're doing this, it's like someone becomes the unspoken leader of the decision making in the writing process, and then they say, I like that, but that was really genuinely, there was none of that. It was just like what we were saying was it. It was like he would say this line, and then I would say the line, and that was it. It wasn't.
And you would just immediately go cut that line.
Yeah, sometimes I'd say half of because we wrote 30 songs.
Yeah.
But like half of the songs were us just going back and forth, and then I would write it down so we could keep track of what we both said, because we're both just rattling shit off. And the other half, we were just tag team in the booth, just like I remember one song. What song was this? It was some song where I had to use the bathroom really bad, and it was not number one this time. So I was like, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. So I went to use the potty. I came back, and he had written half the song.
Oh.
And I was like, damn, I might not get on this one. He was like, actually, I need to go to the bathroom now. I don't know if he did it number one or number two. That's his business.
TBD.
But when he came back, I wrote the other half of the song. And that's one of my favorite songs on there. But I'm trying to remember if it's one of these two songs that we did that on. I think it was it Don't Hold the Wall? I don't remember. But
Don't Hold the Wall written in the stall.
Yeah, that's right, baby. I think it was that. It was either that or, no. It was Are You Comfortable? Right there. You remember that song? Let the groove get in. That's what it's called. I love that song.
I'm gonna go listen to it.
Oh my God.
Picture you guys
pooping.
Just like tag team.
No, we didn't poop together. And I don't know that
separate.
he pooped.
No,
That,
you did productive poops. It's like
yeah.
one keeps it going.
But it was that level of trust. It was like, like how a dog watches you when you're pooping so you're safe. It was like, you can write this while I poop, and I know
that's so cute.
I know I'll be
dude.
okay.
That's a special collaboration right there.
Yeah, bro. That's why it was the shit.
Poop and tie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how about suit and tie?
Suit and tie, what? Which parts did I write?
Yeah.
Let me see. I came. He wrote that. I think I wrote that. No, he wrote that too, because he also wrote "She ain't nothing but a little doozy when she does it," which is hilarious. Right.
Yep.
And We Don't Mind All the Watching. I wrote that whole. So he wrote the first half of the verse. I wrote the second half of the verse. Then he wrote the hook. Long as I got my suit and tie, I'm down the floor tonight. Up to the nines. Let me show you a few things. Then I wrote, let me show you a few things. So we literally was going back and forth. So
I love that.
He wrote the first half of the verse. I wrote the second half. He wrote the first half of the hook. I wrote the second half.
And when you're doing that, it's hook and melody. Same writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love.
Although we
that.
did both too. There were also times where I would do a melody and he would write the words, or he would do the melody and I would write the words.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
For the most part, probably because we've written so many songs, like if I wasn't there or he wasn't there, we wouldn't be doing any of that. We would just go in the booth and just write it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That was one of my most fun experiences of any kind, working on the 2020.
So fun. And then what about Timbaland?
What about him?
Like in terms of with you guys being in the room writing, is he there? He's just doing the beats with you? Is he even there with you guys in those moments?
He was there every day.
He was there it's
the whole time, which was not normal for Timbaland behavior at that time.
Yeah.
But he was really invested, and he was really, everyone was. It was just a really,
you can tell.
Yeah, it was really.
The whole project is cohesive, and you can tell that it's everyone coming in, giving it their all, and doing the full project.
Yeah, it was like, everybody at their best.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it came out like that. And people still talk to me about that. Every other day, somebody says something to me about that shit on the internet. So.
Oh man, Suit and Tie, I loved when that dropped. I was like, yes, dude.
But people be thinking I wrote everything all the time, which I really love that. You know what I mean? Like, I love that people, whenever they like you just now, whenever they hear something good, they're like, I know you did that one. But so I usually don't correct people, but he genuinely is an incredible songwriter.
What about Mirrors?
Mirrors we wrote when we first met. So
really?
That song was 6 years old.
No way.
When it came out on the album. And I think that song was when we knew that we would keep writing for real. Because how I met him, I was writing for an artist that was signed to him. And that's kind of how we met. He just like appeared in the studio behind us and scared the living shit out of me, honestly. Oh my God. Cause I was sitting there writing with the girl at the board like this, and he was like, "Sounds good," out of nowhere. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Justin
Just
Timberlake.
scared the shit out of me. And but yeah, we wrote Mirrors many years before the album came out, and he like called me and was like, "Yo, I got this idea." And if I could remember the words of that song, I could tell you more detail of who wrote what, but there are definitely things by that time, even though that was still early on, we had worked with each other enough that we both picked up each other's stuff.
Yeah.
Like he picked up a lot of things from me for sure. I can still hear, and I don't know if he can hear that I picked up so many things from him.
Yeah.
But I really did. Like I learned a lot about, how do I describe it? It was something that he does in general, but he was doing on this album where he was just like snapping. It was just like, what is this? And I already had that in my spirit. This thing to like call forth something really creative and unique and interesting and like captivating. But he was just doing it on another level, and it was just, he was making it look so easy. So I was just like, I have to be able to tap into this. So I started really like paying attention to what about what he was doing was blowing my mind so much. And then within the album, so that was over the years of me working with him, but even on that album I was picking up even more shit.
Like, do you remember something?
You really could pick any song, but basically I'll just explain the technical aspect of what I've observed. It was like a way he was really making something simple and complex at the same time, which is something I've been doing my whole entire time, even before I met him. But the way he was doing it was like he was able to capture rhythms and melodies that were rhythmic and simple, like at first glance, but if you had to do it, you probably couldn't. You know what I mean? Because he was incorporating dynamics I assume he picked up from dancing or from just his lifetime as an entertainer and a musician. I think another misconception about writing in general is just that, because I see a lot of people that are really good at singing who are not good at writing, and think they are because they sound good.
Yeah.
But almost every major writer in time was not a great singer. I'm one of the only ones. And so that's because they're completely different skills.
Yeah.
They don't. Anyone that really knows their shit knows there were lyric writers and melody writers.
Absolutely.
And so now today everybody assumes that it's one thing, so that's what they do. But this guy really had the melody science down to another level of making something that was not just good but cool also.
Yeah.
And so as such a cool human being, I was like, this represents me. I need to understand this because I need to be able to do this too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really picked it up in the process of that shit. Because like I said, I already had that, you know what I mean? But the way he was doing it was just different from the way I was doing it. And I really feel like that album pushed me to another level of skill. And so I hope he feels like that.
All right. How about, here's a rap one. Click.
Oh, I wrote that whole part. So like the intro was supposed to be the hook, and it wasn't a cappella because it's an a cappella part. But basically, I was in Hawaii working on this album with Kanye West, and he had like everybody in different rooms working on shit by themselves, and I know Hit Boy since day zero for real. So I every time me and him are somewhere in the same place, I'm always going to be like, yo, let me get some beats from him. And so I had the beat and I recorded myself on that shit in one of the rooms. And then when he heard it, Kanye put it at the beginning of the song and took the music off to make it a cappella. That was him that did that, but I wrote the shit.
So you wrote something and then he went and put it where he wanted it.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like I wrote it to the music of the shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he decided, or someone. Actually, I wasn't there, so I don't know what he did, because who knows what that motherfucker did or anything.
Right.
To be honest, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure in this case, he was the one that decided to put the acapella in the beginning and pop that shit off like that.
I wonder if we're all, because that click is Kanye and Jay-Z and Big Sean, right? And James Fauntleroy. So yeah, I wonder if that is what he did with all the parts of that song.
Oh, like throwing the shit around?
Just throwing that shit around.
Who knows, man? Who knows what that motherfucker did or didn't do?
We'll never know.
I know some things.
Oh, tell me.
No, never. I'm cool. I already had my run-in with his fans on the internet. I'm straight.
Oh, Lord. Okay, we won't go there.
Yeah.
All right. An incredible album, an incredible feeling album, or I guess an EP, Silk Sonic.
Oh, my God.
I was so happy when that came out.
Me too. I was when I heard it, I was just mind blown. Like, I mean, I worked on some of the songs too, but like, when I heard it, they had a lot of it done already, and I was just
That's what I was going to ask you.
Oh my God!
So you
walked
walked
in
into
the pandemic, so I was like trying not to die, and
Right.
versus they were like laughing in the face of danger.
And you were like, worth it. I'll risk it. Let's go.
No, I came after.
Okay, so
I did not say worth
Silk
it.
Sonic, so Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak come together.
And D-Mile.
And D-Mile, of course. D-Mile as the glue of the project, right? Like, but when do you become a part of the project? When you walked in, you were saying they already had some stuff done, and then
It was Bruno. He was like, yo, get on this song. Literally, like on the first one I worked on. And that's also when he wrote the Silver Ray jingle that I was singing when I came to the studio that day.
the Silver Ray jingle at the same
was
time.
really, really fun.
They do seem like timepieces in the same thing, yeah.
And then there were a few that I worked on before the pandemic. Because if had the pandemic not happened, I would have been on every song. I would have been there every day.
Yeah.
But there were a few that I worked on before the pandemic. So that's how I ended up on the album. But I wasn't there when they were. So I saw the beginning process and the end process.
Yeah.
But the whole middle, I was at home.
What is it like? Like, so for, in particular, Skate, I can only imagine that you and Bruno and D-Mile and Anderson .Paak, like all together, is a riot of a room. Is that how it was?
Yes. Because they are absolute fools.
Yeah.
And so, just hilarious. And then I think it's JD and Domi.
Yes.
That's some of the best fucking
Musicians.
human people to ever pick up instruments.
What did JD and Domi do on that track?
They made the beat.
They made the beat.
Yeah, and then, the guys, they always tighten things up and change this and do that. I wasn't there for that part, but I know at least the beginning of the beat came from those two little geniuses.
Wow. That's the straightest thing I've ever heard them play.
Yeah, and it's excellent.
I was always wondering, and I love them, and
I'm a big fan of them.
I love them, yeah.
I think they're signed to Anderson in some capacity, yeah, so that's how they ended up in there, but they deserve it because they're fucking amazing.
Good for them. That song is amazing.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And it's not what you would think of as for Domi and JD. You wouldn't think of a song that sounds like that, so it shows a lot of their genius for sure. But yeah, so that must have been a fun session.
It was, man, because he didn't have to do that either, so I was just like, wow, because, I'm like, I was just happy to hear the music because it was so good. I'm like feeling like a special VIP fan that I get to hear all this shit before everybody else. So I was cool with that. I was happy to be out of my house, even though I had a good time low key, but I was glad to be out of the house safely. And I was happy to just listen to the shit and go home. But he was like, yeah, we're writing a song. Let's write the shit right now. So me, him, and Anderson wrote it outside on the table. Got her done.
How much does $1 cost?
Yeah, great song.
Great song. Kendrick Lamar, famous for being an instrumental piece of Obama's messaging, right? Did you get to meet Obama?
No, but that song was on his music list for the year, and I was thrilled.
That must have been amazing to feel.
Oh yeah, that's like really good, really nice. I'm hoping I get on there again one day. Hopefully the daughters figure it out. Maybe they're listening to Nova on their presidential yacht, helicopter.
The daughters are the plug that are like,
the daughters are really the A&Rs of the family. I think
A&Rs.
that he's like listening to them around the house and is like, oh, I like that one. That's how he talks.
Yeah. He's like, that one sounds great.
Yeah.
I love that. I've been spending a lot of time talking to Jimmy Jam.
Oh my God, dude.
I love Jimmy Jam. He's one of my favorite humans.
Hands down. And he hands out all the R&B Grammys. So
Yes.
I've seen him on the stage a few times now. And I mean, you know, anyone to get to my level, this is another thing that I am somewhat sad, but also working hard to preserve this art form, because anyone that wants to get to this level needs to be as familiar with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis as you can get without stalking them in real life, because these two guys are just you know, the example for how this can go.
Yeah.
Especially with what I was talking about earlier about being like genuinely talented and genuinely loving all these different dynamics in music, but figuring out how to make it digestible is so much harder than people think. Typically when people are just good and you tell them to do a pop song, they make something that sucks. Have you ever noticed that? Because they think that pop music sucks.
Yes.
But what I tell people all the time is the people that make the music you think sucks, they're not thinking they're making something that sucks. This is the best shit they can make.
Possibly make.
So if you go in there and you're trying to compete with someone's best effort with your sucky effort, you're not going to win, bro.
For sure.
And so these guys really showed us, like, from my perspective, they're one of the people in the timeline of music that really showed you can love music as fully as you want to. And if you have the ability to love it enough to learn how to put it in a package that someone that doesn't love it as much as you can now find your love in that song.
Yeah.
And that's what the fuck this is about.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I love Jimmy Jam. Love Terry Lewis. Mm-hmm. He also has the most similar voice to Barack Obama.
Really? I never thought about that.
Really?
That is hilarious, man.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is so cool. I wrote James Joint at their studio. That was the studio it was when they had the studio still.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I met them at that studio early in my career.
Nice.
And so I just remember them being really supportive, especially Jimmy really like talking to me and all this shit. And I hadn't really done anything. So I was just like, why does this guy want to talk to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they've always been really cool and a rare example of meeting someone in real life that you look up to that's actually cool and not
so cool.
A giant steaming piece of slimy poo-poo.
No, he's the coolest. No,
that's what usually happens.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really try hard not to meet people I look up to. I started doing that early on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a relatively good experience.
Jimmy Jam, awesome. Babyface, love him. Stevie Wonder, oh my God.
The best.
These are some great guys.
Amazing.
So those are times that I met or interacted with people I looked up to that I was like, oh, now I'm inspired. I want to be even cooler now. LaShawn Daniels, I was so excited to get to know him. He was so freaking hilarious, dude.
Out of all the artists you've worked with, who do you like collabing with the most as a human?
I don't know, man, because like, you know, for instance, Bruno, I met him when we both were broke. So it's I have a different connection with him and his career because I watched the whole thing happen and I'm so proud, you know what I mean? So I have a different level of like, wow, look at what this guy became. And then Rihanna, you know what I mean? Like the level of freedom and support and just like, you know, like when Rihanna had me do the Rated R album, and they went to take the songs into the label was like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, we're not putting, that's why none of my songs were the singles, literally, because the people at the label were like, who is this guy? We can't put these songs out. Who is it? You know, like he wrote one song or whatever like that. And so, like, that was her decision. Her and Tata and, you know, the guys, they all made that decision on their own. And so, you know, that's something I always think about and remember, and it's still... you know, like, it's part of what propels me forward is like not necessarily the money, although, you know, give me some. Not necessarily the money, but like the support of people whose support is something that you have to earn.
Yeah.
And something that is meaningful because of how much sacrifice they made to get to the level of their support mattering at all, or the environment they create mattering at all. So I say my favorites are Bruno, Rihanna, and Justin, equally for different reasons.
What is the best lesson Bruno has taught you?
There's a lot, man. I learned a lot from that environment, from him and Phil, honestly. But I'd say until I met Bruno, I had written all my songs, like in a day or half hour or something like that. And he was the first person, which I knew that wasn't the only or correct way, because even in the environment I was in, all the success I was seeing, which is something that producers learn over time. Hopefully they'll learn this, but you do a song that's a demo and then you go back in and you finish it and work on it. And you keep working on it until it's perfect. Versus I had just gotten, as a professional writer, you have to go deliver right now. You have to walk in a room full of strangers, listen to some music that's probably whack, and then try to make the best song ever with these people you just met with this music that's not that great.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of room or even possibility to keep working on songs. So because that was my experience, there was no working on the songs for more than one day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so his environment is, even with the Justin shit, we were writing all that shit same day, just going. All the Rihanna songs, same day, all that. And so Bruno was the first person I worked with that we worked on the song over a span of time and fucking swept the Grammys.
Yeah.
When he went last time, swept it again. This nigga's just also a janitor. He's just, he's just a janitor exclusively for the Grammys. He's the official Grammys janitor. And if you leave some Grammys around, they're getting fucking swept up by this nigga. And so, it's like, that'll make you think about your process and like, do I need to write a song in one day? So people that see me write, I write so fast and they think that I'm doing that on purpose. But I really, even before that experience, it wasn't really real until that experience. But I've never been writing fast because I am trying to write fast. It's just out of necessity.
Yeah.
And so like, that's a luxury too, to be able to continue to work on your music. But I really believe that made an impact, but I learned that from him on a completely different level than I ever would have arrived at on my own.
Yeah.
So that was super valuable.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Fauntleroy.
Yeah.
Most platinum person alive. Greatest dude ever. We love James. Love James Fauntleroy.
Yes.
Fauntleroy.
That's me, Floss Leroy.
Well, bro, thank you for...
thank you, Elmo.
Thanks for taking the time,
Thank you, guys. Thank you, people at home. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Jesus again. Thanks.
Everybody who grew up with me, I have always been like, go.